Hey, okay. Now we are back for the bottom half of this worksheet that we're working on. Remember, we're still on page C. Oh, let's see. C1. Yep, it got cut off. But it's the father of genetics, what you need to know. Let's put it all together. We're going to work on the bottom part here. That's called young rat live. So we're going to learn about it. We're going to learn about these two little rats and what happens when they want to start a family. So these two little young rats are in love and they wanted to start a family. Let's see if we can predict what their children will look like. Okay. We're going to start looking at the alleles that control fur color. Keep in mind that the rat has two genes, one trait from the mom and one trait from the dad. Okay. And one of those two genes gets passed along to their offspring. So for each, the mom has two genes, the dad has two genes, and one of those variants are going to get passed down to their offspring. So it's going to be like this, or it's going to be like this, or, different ways to give a variation to their offspring. So we have here a male rat with a genotype big A, little a, which is a heterozygous, which is an agouti brown and black mix rat. That's the phenotype that's coming out. And then the female has a genotype that is small a, that is known as a homozygous recessive, and it has a black phenotype. Okay, so let's figure out what the color fur their offsprings might gonna have. So male, heterozygous, agouti, female, down on this side. Anyway, I can't do that. But down here, I'll use my little arrow. Recessive, black phenotype. Let's see what happens. Yes, we know they like to hit heads together. Okay, Punnett squares. This is a tool that we're going to use with our genetics. They help us to determine the possible offspring genotype combinations and phenotypes, like the size of ears, colors of eyes, or color of fur. And in this case, we're going to look at the color of the fur. So first, we're going to start off by creating a box like this, and you have one on your paper. Okay, so right here on the bottom, it's already been created for you. Okay, so with that box, we're going to put, let me move my, you see, I bet you this will be a good place for Mrs. DeLay to reside for the moment. Okay, we're going to put the male's alleles, the capital A and the lowercase a at the top, one allele above each box. Okay, then we're going to put the female alleles, the small a, on the left-hand side, one beside each box. Okay, so the male is always going to go across the top. The female is going to go across the bottom. And notice how you put them kind of right in the middle of those boxes. So male, female. Then we're going to carry the capital A from the male into each box below it. And then we're going to take the small a and we're going to carry it down as well. So you just drop that capital A down, drop that lowercase a down into the Punnett square. Then we're going to carry the top little a from the female over to each box to the right, and then we're going to carry the bottom one over too. Notice how the dominant allele right here in this first box is always going to be first, and it just looks better. So that's how scientists do it. So just know that you write the capital, if it's going to be heterozygous like this is, then you write the capital letter first in lowercase. And there you have a completed Punnett square. These are so much fun. So now we have all the possibility available from this pair of rats. So according to the Punnett square, 2 of these 4 boxes, or 50% of these baby rats, will have the genotype heterozygous right here. Capital A, capital or lowercase a, just like the dad. Okay. And then the other 2 of the 4 boxes are going to have the lowercase genotype, just like their mom. They're recessive homozygous. Okay, and you can see that written right here. The genotypes, capital A, lowercase a, 50%, lowercase a, recessive homozygous, 50%. The phenotypes, again, if we look, that capital A is going to pull that agouti color, okay? That's 50%. And then 50% of those rats will be recessive, which is that black color, okay? So 50%, 50%, 50%, 50%. This one actually works out to be really nice, that Punnett Square. So go ahead and fill in those percentages on your paper. And then let's look at some questions, okay, on the next page. So we're on page C2. So right up here, what you do, okay? You're going to identify whether each is a homozygous purebred or a heterozygous hybrid. I'm going to pause this. You pause it. You pause the video and see if you can fill this in. Remember, if it is same letters, it's going to be a homozygous. If they're different letters, they're going to be heterozygous. And that's all you have to do. Just homozygous or heterozygous. Okay, go ahead. Pause. All right, let's see how well you did. So we have one, capital G, those homozygous. Okay, capital and lowercase, heterozygous. All right, they're different. So they're hetero. Different means, hetero means different. Homo, that suffix means, or the prefix, I'm sorry. That prefix means same. So if you have two, on number 3, if you have two small g's, homozygous. Capital and lowercase, they're different. So again, they're going to be heterozygous. And so on. You can go ahead and check your answers there. Okay. Now let's go find some probability of these offspring. This is where it gets a lot of fun. Okay, we have capital D for dimples, lowercase d for no dimples. So the dimples is definitely dominant. A male who is heterozygous mates with a female who is homozygous recessive for the trait. What is the female's genotype? Okay, I want you to pause it right now and try to answer this question, and then hit play when you have your guess. All right. Female genotype is lowercase d. If it's homozygous, we know that they're going to be the same. So you have two possible choices, uppercase, or lowercase. And since it's recessive, it's going to be lowercase. So now we're going to complete the Punnett Square to determine the probability that they will produce a child with dimples. Remember, with dimples is dominant. So first we have our Punnett Square. We're going to put the dad's alleles up on top, and his is heterozygous. Heterozygous is capital lowercase. The mom's, which we determined is lowercase across the side. Then we're going to drop the dads down into those boxes. And then we're going to slide the mothers. We're just going to copy the mothers straight across and add them to the dads. And that is, there we have the end result of the possibilities of offspring. So this is for one offspring, okay? Every time these parents have an offspring, the possibilities come back. So it's not necessarily if they have 4 kids, they're going to have 2 that are heterozygous and 2 that are homozygous recessive. This is just for one kid, one chance, he will be one of these. So what's the possibility or the probability that they're going to produce a child with dimples? So with dimples, we're going to look for that capital D. So here's a big D, there's a big D. Those 2 boxes do not have them. So we have 2 out of 4 boxes that have dimples. So 50% of their children will have dimples. Okay. The next one more practice. We have brown eyes, capital B, versus blue eyes. Which one is, or think about which one is dominant. Yep, brown. And then recessive is blue. So we have a woman who is heterozygous for brown eyes. Can you kind of see in your head now if she's going to be capital B, or capital B, lowercase b? Heterozygous means different. So it's definitely going to be a capital B and lowercase b. She has children with a man who is also heterozygous. So they're going to have the same genotype. So we're going to draw a Punnett Square showing the types of offspring for this pairing. So we have our father and our mother, capital B, lowercase b on both of them. And then we're just going to fill in those squares. See how the father goes down and the mother comes across. And look at that last couple squares. This one in particular, they wrote that one backwards. It should be, even though this is the father's, when you write it, you need to switch those, okay? Have the capital B first. So that's your Punnett Square. What's the probability that the child will have blue eyes? So you have to ask yourself, blue eyes will only show if you have both recessive genes. So those recessive genes are going to be lowercase b, and here only one of those 4 boxes will have that recessive gene show or that phenotype show. And so it's only going to be 25% of those boxes do they have a possibility of having a child that has blue eyes. So if you are a kid that has blue eyes and both your parents have brown eyes, this is their genotype. You can go home now and say, I know how I got my blue eyes now, because both of them somewhere have that recessive gene hiding behind that dominant brown eye. It's kind of exciting when that little blue eye pops up. So let's see, where's my cursor? And guess what? I think we're at the end of your worksheet. So this gets you through the end of this week for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow in class, I have an activity for you guys to do to kind of sum up everything that we've been studying for Friday. I gave the kids who are in cohort 1 these worksheets already. Cohort 2, I'll give them to you on Friday. But review all these pages because everything that we've studied for this week will be on the review sheet for Friday. And you should be really, really familiar and comfortable with the vocabulary words of heterozygous, homozygous, genotype, phenotype, recessive, dominant, Punnett squares, the possibilities of how to find those phenotypes. So be familiar with those words. You've had all week to study this, and I think you guys are going to do brilliant on Friday with the work that we're going to give you. So that is that. Now, once again, I have to figure out how to, in this fabulous video, I don't know if it's fabulous or not, guys. I'm just doing my thing. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.